So we made it to 2021, and now it's time to set a few new goals. Here are my racing goals for this year. How's it going, runners? My name is Justin Thompson. I'm your average running PT, and I help the average runner achieve their own personal elite status. If that's something you guys are into, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you know when the next video comes out. That's right, we are here. We made it through the crazy year of 2020 and now on to another probably crazy year in 2021. So how are we going to try and bring a little bit more normalcy to this year? Well, we just have to keep on plugging away and set new goals for the year. So I really accomplished quite a bit in 2020 compared to what I've done in the past. I ran 1,000 miles over the course of the year. I ran almost sub 19 for 5K. So that'll come up here in just a minute. But, you know, there's definitely more that we can improve on. And I want to go over some of that here today. This is going to be first part in a two-part video series where I talk about some of my goals. This is going to be more about racing goals. What are the times that I want to hit, things of that sort, and the things that I want to accomplish in those races. And then I want to do another video about training goals. You know, what do I want to accomplish with my training? You know, running mileage, running certain kinds of training throughout the course of the year. So I'll go over that in the next video, so make sure that you check in for that one. So before I give you my goals that I want to hit when it comes to these races and things like that, I want you to leave me a comment down below telling me, you know, do you want to run a PR for a 5K? Do you want to run your first half marathon? Do you want to run a Spartan race or something of that sort? So what are your racing goals for 2021? And go ahead and leave that comment down below, and I will definitely get back to you guys because I love seeing you guys putting those comments and telling me what your goals are so that maybe I can kind of gear these videos towards helping you to achieve those goals. Okay, so go ahead and put that comment down below, and then let me tell you guys about my goals for racing in 2021. Now, I've got a few timing goals that I really want to hit because there have been these kind of like cutoff markers for me that have been mentally, I think, stopping blocks or obstacles that have really kind of gotten in my way. For the 5K, I know that last year in 2020, I really was butting up against that sub 19 5K. But that's not all I want to achieve. I want to do even better than that. So my actual goal for 2021 in the 5K is going to be 18 minutes and 30 seconds. So 18:30 is a time that would indicate to me that I am back in the same or similar kind of fitness that I was in high school. My high school PR was 18:22. And obviously a stretch goal, a big reach goal for me for 2021 would be to actually break that PR. But let's start with sub 19 first and then work my way down to 18:30, and we'll see what the PR has in store. But you know, that's my goal for the 5K in 2021. Obviously some things will need to change a bit in my training, so I will discuss that in the future video where I do talk about my training goals. All right, so 5K, 18:30. Now for another race distance that I did a couple of times in 2020, but didn't really get an opportunity to see what I could do in my peak training was the mile. And the mile it's a prestigious event. We want to, you know, how fast can we run a mile? And you know, that's something that for me is fun because it's fast and I can get my legs turning over really quickly, and it's something that I think suits me a little bit better than a 5K or even longer distances of runs. So for my 1 mile time that I would like to achieve in 2021, and I'm trying to keep it somewhat realistic because my PR from high school, I was a junior in high school. It was run on an indoor track at the University of Arkansas track. I ran a 5 minutes and 13-second mile. I always wanted to be able to break 5 minutes. I always wanted to be able to break 5. I don't know if that's the goal for this year, but I definitely would like to hit a PR for the mile, 5:13 or better. 5:10 is kind of the number that I'm looking at and shooting for. So for the mile, 5:10, obviously that stretch, that reaching goal that I would really have to focus and lock in on would be 5 minutes, and trying to go beneath that 5-minute mark. Now, you may be thinking, okay, you run a 19-minute 5K and you expect to run under 5 minutes for a mile. Those times don't really translate to each other if you plug them into the calculators and all that kind of stuff. And believe me, I'm aware of that. But I've always known that I've been more of a speed guy, and that the endurance component is much more difficult for me to carry that speed over a long distance. That's why I've been working so hard over the last year with like MAF training, low heart rate training. And that's something that I will continue to do to hopefully be able to stretch that speed out over a longer distance. But anyway, 5:10 is the goal for 2021 for 1 mile, with that reaching goal, that stretch goal, being a sub 5-minute mile. And finally, let's talk about going a little bit farther. Okay, let's talk about running the half marathon. And this is one that has been kind of my nemesis for a little while. And you know, I said that about the 5K too, I think. But, you know, the 5K is something that I've been doing since I was really young, since I was in high school. But the half marathon is something that every time I run it, I'm either really surprised, like the very first one that I did, I was surprised by it in a good way. And then I've only ever run 2 other ones in my life, so I've done 3 total. The first one, I surprised myself and was, you know, really kind of blown away by it. And then the second 2, I surprised myself by doing really, really badly. So it's something that, for me, the half marathon is a distance that mentally is very, very difficult for me because of the extra distance to it, and I can really start to psych myself out over that longer period of time, that 13-mile run. So what's the goal? What's the goal for a half marathon? And let me first tell you guys what my PR is. And my PR came in my first ever half marathon that I ran out in Arkansas. Again, all of these PRs are coming from Arkansas. So I ran the Hogtown, or not Hogtown, it was the, I forgot the name of it, but it was out in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It was on a very, very hilly course, so I was very, you know, not expecting anything. So I went out real slow and easy, took it easy, and I ran a 1 minute and 39-second half marathon for my first half marathon. And that was the day after a soccer practice that I had. It was during off-season soccer when I was in college, when I was a junior in college. So it was the day after soccer practice, so I wasn't sure how I was going to do because I was tired, I was kind of sore. But I did it, and I did well. I was very, very pleased with 1 hour and 39 minutes for a half marathon. And so I went on to do my second half marathon, which was probably 3 or 4 years later, here in Gainesville, the Tom Walker half marathon, and the course kind of caught me by surprise. I didn't prepare well eating-wise, and I bunked at about 8 miles, and I was going for sub 1:30, an hour and 30 minutes. And I was holding that pace. I was going about 6:50, 6:55 through 7 or 8 miles. And then I think I just didn't prepare well with eating. So I bunked and I couldn't finish it out. I finished it, but I did not. I had to walk a lot the second half of the run. And then my third half marathon was a couple of years ago here in Gainesville again. And I thought I was preparing fairly well. I just didn't have a big enough base under me. This was before I started doing low heart rate training and really working on an aerobic base. And I was going for sub 130 again. And I just failed miserably. And, you know, I also had a foot injury at the time that I thought was going to be okay, but it started bothering me during the race. I just ended up walking a lot of it and did not accomplish the goal I wanted to accomplish. And so I keep telling myself over and over again, I hate this race. I hate this half marathon. But here I am again, thinking about doing it again. I really think that I have the capacity to go under 130 for the half marathon. And that's the goal. That is the goal for 2021, would be to run a sub 90 minute half marathon. And just thinking about it right now scares the heck out of me because, you know, I don't know with 100% certainty whether I can actually do that. All I know is that I'm going to have to build up that aerobic base much, much bigger, much, much better. And I think that this race is going to have to come towards the end of the year. I want to make sure that I have a lot more time to build that base over the course of the year. Again, I want to get a couple more training cycles in where I'm working on this low heart rate training and working on building that aerobic base. So it won't be early in the year, most likely, that I run that race. It will probably be maybe the Tom Walker half marathon towards the end of this year. Usually that's in November. And you know, obviously all of this depends on COVID. What's COVID going to do and what's it going to allow when it comes to racing? So maybe I'll be doing a bunch more time trials or something like that. I don't really know. So we'll just have to see. But those are my racing goals for 2021. Again, go ahead and leave me a comment down below. Tell me, what are your racing goals for 2021? I would love to hear them, and leave some comments on your comments as well. So, alright guys, that's all I've got for you guys today. Head on out there, seek your elite. God bless, and I will see you next time.